and welcome to another episode. I don't have a name for it yet, but I'm interviewing my success stories, some of them from the Conscious Dating Network. And the Conscious Dating Network is comprised of multiple online dating sites featuring SpiritualSingles.com, GreenSingles.com, ConsciousSingles.com, and many others. They're like different rivers all flowing into the same ocean. So you don't need to join all of them, just one, and you automatically have access to everybody on all sites. And today it's my great pleasure to welcome Kim and Randy Keeshan. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Jill. It's great to finally meet you, and thank you in person. We met on your site, Conscious Match, almost 8 years ago. And here we are, happily married, and everything is great.
I love it. That's so
an amazing journey. Yeah.
What was that, Kim?
It's just been an amazing journey because it was like we just connected, and it was just one of those things where it was just meant to be. So yeah.
So let's back up a little bit here. I love this. You guys met, what year was it when you met online?
2016.
2016. Okay. And how long were you a member, Randy, before you met?
I actually joined on February 14th of that year. And
Valentine's Day.
yes, that's when I decided, all right, I'm going to do this. And I'll never forget, it was a Sunday and I put up a profile. And Kim, I didn't find her until November 30th. And I think she had just gotten on, right?
Yeah, what happened was I finally, it was I never really joined, but I was dabbling with it, and I was just like looking on there, and sometimes I would get somebody to express their interest, but I didn't actually join. And that year I was really, really ready, and I had gone to see my family and on the East Coast, and I just hit that point where it's like, where is my man? It's time. And being in Austin, I thought, oh, I should be able to meet somebody in Austin. And it didn't happen. And I'd been there for 25 years. And so I thought, I'm really going to do it now. I'm going to join Conscious Match. As soon as I get back, I'm doing it. And then I did it. And as soon as I did that, that's when I met Randy.
Wow. Now, let's just to clarify. So were you a free member at first? And then when you said join, you upgraded?
Exactly.
Okay.
So because when the free member, you can't really have the exchange with the person. You just see what, you know what I mean? You kind of get a feel of who's on the site a little bit. But when I, saw Randy, I just knew that I needed to have that real exchange with someone. And I knew I was going to meet a quality person on your site. And so, yeah, it was time.
That's great. Well, and I know it's been a while since you've been on, but just to clarify, free members can actually read and reply to paid members. I've always done that. It's always been more generous than other sites that way. However, I think that is a good note because when you upgrade and pay, it says to the universe, God, divine energy, however you want to look at it, that you are really ready. I'm ready, I'm committed, I'm doing this. And even though it's a small fee, it still is energy in the right direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So Kim, how long were you a member on the site, a free member, before you met Randy?
Actually a really long time. I think probably in 2012. I was dabbling with it because I've been on and off of Match.com and these other ones, and I just wasn't finding the quality of person that I was really looking for that had more depth, and that was compatible with my perception of things, right? And so I felt that ConsciousMatch.com was the place for me. And I saw some really interesting people on there. So it just so Randy was in Chicago and I'm in Austin, And, you know, the thing is, it's the details work themselves out, right? So you can't, you know, some people have a fear of like, oh, but I can't meet somebody that's across the world or, you know, across the states. But in reality, you can, because it's all circumstantial and, you know, desire and all kinds of things, right? So.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that's a really good point, because a lot of people do get a little intimidated or lazy even about meeting someone long distance, or they don't think it'll work, but it works really well. And most of our success stories start out that way. So it definitely works. So Randy, did you contact Kim first?
I did.
Okay. Oh, and shall we clarify that you're not in your house right now, because
Oh, yeah.
there's a bar behind you. You're
That's
actually
not a bar.
in a little boutique hotel in California, visiting some family. Because I see a bartender or somebody behind you. So I just
Right.
wanted to clarify that that's not their house with the big, because I thought, wow, you guys have quite the bar in your house. I we're out of town. All right.
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So Randy, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. So you reached
No.
out to Kim first?
I did, you know, I looked around, certain areas, you know, I did searches in the States or even in the world. And then, I searched in Texas, and, there she was. And, I clicked, I believe the button says, I'm interested, that you clicked or something. And then she got right back to me. So,
Oh,
my person.
okay. So this is interesting. Okay, so that's an option for anybody. You can say, I'm interested in you. And
Right.
then Kim, did you send him an email then? Because you had upgraded, you had paid, so you could initiate an email.
Yes, I
Okay.
did. So I saw Randy indicated interest in you. Okay. And I looked at his profile, and this is interesting because we're here in LA visiting his daughters, which are my stepdaughters now. But I saw him with his daughters, and I was like, that's my man. You know, I just saw his spirit come through, that father figure, that caring, you know, compassionate, all that. It kind of makes me a little choked up. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. And then we started talking on the phone, and we would talk for hours on the phone, like literally every single day. And so for a month, we talked on the phone so much, we just got to know each other as if we had been together for years. And so then he finally came to Austin to visit. It was, you know, right around like New Year's Eve. And so we discussed it, and we thought it would be a good idea for him to have an open-ended ticket, because we didn't know which direction it could go, and it could be great, it could be not so great. And so it ended up being great. So he ended up staying for like 5 weeks. And then I was in this apartment complex, and I love the apartment complex, but I had a 1-bedroom apartment, and he's like, let's go see if they have a bigger apartment. So they happened to have this like stunning apartment on the 3rd floor that was big enough for us. And so we literally moved us into that bigger apartment. He went back to Chicago. Like,
After 2
Wait,
weeks.
wait.
you broke the lease.
After 5 weeks of seeing each other, you knew?
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
2 weeks.
2
We
weeks.
knew. We just knew.
Wow. Wow.
We just fit like, it was, I mean, it's still today, we're like, we can't believe how compatible, you know, as you're with someone, you learn things, and we look at each other and go, can you believe like how compatible we
I mean,
are?
we're together, so we're together all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I mean, the fact, it is amazing to me when couples come together. Matter of fact, the last success story interview, which was the first one I did, they also, Joy and Gavin, they also work together, live together 24/7, and they couldn't be happier. And, you know,
Yep.
it's amazing, because sometimes you would think you would get on each other's nerves, or something would happen, something would turn you, but you guys are the same. It's just like, no, we're so happy together. It's amazing to me. I love that. So tell us a little bit. I love And I'm a client of Kim, of both now together, right? You guys
Mhm.
know what the ownership looks like, doesn't matter, but of
Mhm.
yours. And I have been for several years of Cheeky Butter.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
love their products. And I can't remember if I heard about it separately, or I can't remember how I heard about it originally.
Mm.
Tell us. So Randy, you were in marketing, you own this company, Kim.
Mhm.
So how did that all flow together?
Well, so I've been in sales and business my whole life. And so, and I had a career in Chicago that I had to leave to come to Austin. And so, but I was ready for a change in my life anyway. I'd already been thinking about it. And I was actually planning to move to Oregon. So I was getting ready to leave Chicago anyway and look for something new. But then when I met Kim, she had been a massage therapist for 20 years and she was still doing massage, but she had also started creating products for her clients and then started selling them a little bit to stores and things. And she was getting it off the ground. And I didn't know anything about it. So when I got to Austin, we had to, figure things out. And I started to learn more about her products. And she had been told by doctors not to do any more massage because she had really overworked her body, let's say. And so, anyway, so she was kind of using her products as an escape, that was her plan to exit massage anyway. So when I decided that I think we can do this together, that's when we fulfilled that together. So she stopped doing massage. We went to that business full time.
Yeah, we put our savings in and we made it happen and we survived the pandemic. And it's amazing. It's a miracle. And we're doing pretty well now, so yeah.
Wow, I love that. It's actually pretty common that people will come together through the websites. And you guys met on Conscious Match, which is one of the smaller ones, but you guys were both members on Conscious Match?
Yes.
Yes.
That's so unusual because it's a really small one marketed by a third party.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could have met anybody from any site. So
Right.
it doesn't matter, like I said, which site you joined. So that's just really interesting that you both were from that site specifically. But oftentimes people come together and the power of the two together is exponentially greater than either of them alone. And they tend to do amazing things like, take your company to the next big level where you probably couldn't have done it by yourself. I mean, you needed a marketing person, and how perfect that it's your man.
I know. And it's had its challenging moments, but we're kind of through that now. And it really didn't take that long because, you start to create what you want through what you don't want, and fine tune the process. And then through that, things become easier, and to have more of a flow. And so that's where we're at now, which is so lovely because we really did go through the hard work, and plus a pandemic,
Yeah, it would have been faster if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
and the other thing,
go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say the other thing is that both of our families and friends are so compatible. I mean, there's literally no drama, no issues, no nothing like that. It's just such a
Everybody
blend.
likes everybody. So.
It's like bread and butter.
Easy. That's so good.
It really is.
When did you pop the question, Randy, and how did you do it?
Oh, that was about a year and a half after we met.
Yeah.
And so how did they do it? Well, went out to a nice restaurant, and we actually were with some friends.
On my birthday.
On her birthday. That's right. And so that's how that happened. And then we got married the following year. It was August 4th, 2018. We got married in California, Laguna Beach, so that my girls could be there easily. And we had friends and family travel from around the country. We had about 25 people. 25 people. Yeah.
It was great. It was such a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
And then our honeymoon was, we just traveled along the coast, through Big Sur and Carmel, Monterey, you know, all those places. Yeah, so it was lovely.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I saw pictures of the wedding back when, I don't know, you guys didn't even tell me about your success story till much later, I think.
Oh, okay.
Now that
Yeah.
because I wrote something in your thing, like just receiving this now, and you were talking about dates way back in 2016 and
Uh-huh.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
which is, I just appreciate knowing about it because if people don't tell me, I don't know. And
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, we have thousands of success stories over 24 years,
Wow.
but I only know about so many. So I'm always really
Yeah.
grateful when people share their success, and you doing this interview is an extra bonus for me and
Mhm.
our listeners. They get really inspired because it does work. Did either of you come to a point where you were kind of frustrated or thought it wouldn't work, or were you just always really optimistic? How did that go?
Well, I'll answer for myself. To be honest with you, I've been on other dating sites and I really wasn't feeling it, you know. But for some reason internally, I just felt when I got on your site, I started to feel I'm gonna find the person I'm looking for on this site. I was convinced.
Mhm.
And so I did meet a few other women that obviously, they were, you know, wonderful, but not the right ones. And so, but I just stayed at it because I just knew I had that knowing that I was going to find my person on that site. I wasn't going to go on a different site. And so, yeah, it wasn't that long. It was about 8, 9 months later. And there she is. And the thing is, we honestly could say that we can't imagine how we would have met otherwise.
Yeah,
Probably
absolutely.
wouldn't have happened.
It was, I mean, really, it's unbelievable. It's really like a needle in a haystack, you know? And I had just joined literally after like a week and a half is when I met him. And then I was done. But I knew I was going to meet my man on consciousmatch.com. I just knew it because I don't know. It's the same thing with Randy. We're both really intuitive, you know, and I just knew that my person was there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you had been a free member for a while, and then all of a sudden something happened and you just went, I'm ready, let's do this.
I shifted. It was me. I was like, I was going to manifest it because that was it, you know?
Yeah.
I was 54 at the time and, right? 54?
Yeah,
54. It was just timing, you know, I knew it was time. And I don't know. And then, I'll share something else. So I knew the second conversation on the phone that I even told my family, I said, this man's going to ask me to marry him and I'm going to say yes.
Oh my
I
God.
said second day. And my family was like, you're crazy. And they know me. I'm not like that, you know, but I just knew I have this inner knowing. And sure enough, you know, it was just like this family feeling that I had with him. And then when we were together, we were married and everything. And I woke up one morning and I swear I had this message come to me loud and clear. As long as you two are together, you will have everything.
Mm.
That's what the message said to me. And I feel like together we bring our angels together and it's like this like they're just cheering us on, you know?
Yeah. Wow. I get goosebumps when you're talking about that. That's just, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
When she says we talked on the phone for hours every day, it really was like that. And I don't talk to anybody for longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then, what else was I gonna say? So, oh yeah, and then we didn't even Skype. We were just talking on the phone and I was supposed to come in. Yeah, I was supposed to come in about a week and her family said, you better Skype with this guy.
Yeah.
Make sure he's who he says he is.
Yeah.
So we Skyped once and then,
Make sure he doesn't have like one eye in the middle of his forehead kind of thing. Yeah. So what would you say are do you have like some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from being together?
Yeah, one of the biggest lessons for me was to trust in the universe and the timing, you know, of everything. Because if I was with someone else, you know, and I kind of forced the issue with someone else, so to speak, I wouldn't have met Randy, and it would just be a different thing, you know. It's really about trusting your path, really dialing into your intuitive powers and not making compromises, you know, those deep compromises with yourself, right? Of course, when you're with someone, you always have to compromise, but that just happens naturally when you're with the right person, you know? So yeah. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, I like the story of what your friend told you, if you want. I don't know if you want to share that.
My friend told me that if you are with someone that you know you're not supposed to be with, then that's what's called a space holder. And when you put somebody in your life as a space holder, it holds you back from actually meeting the person. And so, yeah, at first I was a little defensive about that, you know, but I don't know, it really stuck with me, and the words just kept coming to me, and I realized that it's so true. I have to keep myself clear and open for the person that I'm really supposed to be with, you know, on that level, that deep level.
That's so perfect. I totally agree with you, because it's all about energy, right? And if you're with somebody temporarily or as a space holder, and you know it's not going to work, it's kind of easy to go there, because sometimes we get lonely and we get, you know, gosh, I'll just date this person for a little while, and while I'm waiting for the real one to come along. But if you don't have as much time available, you might not be putting the energy into online, you know, looking at profiles. Like Randy, you looked at a lot of profiles, you dated a lot of, or I don't know a lot, but you dated other women first and met other women. And if you were like putting your energy into someone else, that wouldn't have happened. So you know.
Exactly. It's all energy, you know, and it's like you just have to keep your aura clean and clear, and you have to be in the present moment of things, you know, to really like capture what is really happening, you know, intuitively.
And then, you know, it kind of speaks to the type of people that are on the site, because I believe I traveled to meet 3 other women, and each time I said to myself, well, she's not right, but she's kind of close. And then the next one, it was, she's not right, but I feel like I'm getting closer. And then same thing, you know, and then here she was, the next one. I just knew it was happening in the way it was supposed to.
Well, and here's to you, Randy, too, for being willing to travel to meet women. And because we talked about this in the last one, it's so who you share the rest of your life with is very important, and it's a huge thing. So it deserves time and energy, not only in creating your profile, and then also taking action and, you know, reaching out and saying hi and saying, hey, check out my profile. What do you think? And you know, creating those openings, and then spending time talking and getting to know them, and Zooming or Skyping and learning about them, and then ultimately traveling. If you think could be a good match, you gotta go meet them if they're not in your area, which happens a lot. So I would like to really encourage people to be open-minded that, hey, your soulmate may live in another city, town, country, state, whatever.
I'll add something to that. It's actually works to, it's really beneficial in that way, because what happens when you meet somebody locally in your area, sometimes you get into the physical aspect of a relationship way too fast. And it's like, it can kind of like, you know, burn out, right? Because you don't get the time to really like understand someone or know them. Where Randy and I, it was like we microwaved how fast we got to really know each other, you know? And I was so grateful for that, because it's just a different way to do it. But I feel like it had much more stay power and more, I don't know, it just set the stage for something deeper, you know, than just being a, you know, physical first and then get to know each other, you know? So there's definitely a gift in being with someone or meeting someone that's maybe not in your area, you know. Mhm.
Yeah, very good point. And it's so true because, yeah, if you jump right into bed with somebody, you're
Mhm.
not, it's like something shifts and it's hard to actually get to know the
Right.
real person. It's like, I don't know, it's just different. So when you talk to them on the phone for hours and hours and really
Mhm.
open your heart and share
Mhm.
things from deep within and
Yeah,
you can talk about anything because at that point too, you have nothing to lose, right? If it works,
right.
if it doesn't, okay, so what? We had some phone conversations. So
Mhm.
you're not as deeply invested, I think, and you're Chris Rock used to say in one of his gigs that when two singles meet for the first time, they're sending their representatives. It's not
No, right.
right. It's not really them. It's like their best face and their best look. And
Exactly.
yeah, but when you're on the phone or Zooming, I think Joy in the last interview made a good point that when you're Zooming, there's still a little bit of that. So it's
Yeah.
good. I think it's good to make sure you don't have like the single eye on the forehead kind of thing. However, after maybe a couple Zoom calls, then I think it's good to take it to the phone because you can
Mhm.
just kick back, you're relaxed, you're talking on the
Right.
phone, and
Yeah.
you really get a sense of that person, I
Mhm.
think on an even deeper level.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not so self-conscious, you know, you're just more natural, right? Things are just, yeah, it's more natural.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was strange. I remember I'd be driving to the gym to get a workout in, and then she'd call, and then I'd end up just driving around and around and around. And 2 hours later, I'd go, forget the gym, and I'd go home.
I swear, Jill, there were times when we look at the clock and we go, oh my God, we've been talking for 4 hours. I
Wow.
know, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it didn't even feel like 4 hours. It was really something.
And then, when I first came on the site, back to what we were talking about, I'll never forget the very first woman that contacted me. Right away, I started getting contacts from women. The first one was from Colombia. And I went, whoa, what is this? And then everybody was from far away, and I wasn't expecting that. And the weird thing is, being in Chicago, which is a huge market, there really weren't that many women on there to choose from. So I accepted that this is gonna be a long distance thing, I guess. And I just, kind of learned to be okay with that and went with it. And it worked.
You
Same thing with
adapted. You adapted. That's
It was the
great.
same thing for me. It was like, I've been in Austin for 25 years and still not meeting anyone. I know my man's not here. That was really the thing that shifted for me. It was like when I realized I needed that my man was someplace else, that's when I really opened myself up. So we kind of reached the same conclusion at the same time, you know? Yeah.
You
And no
guys
more space holders.
You guys were destined to meet. I keep
Yeah.
getting goosebumps when you say stuff like that. It's like
Yeah.
you were destined to meet, and
Mhm.
I'm just thrilled and so happy that it's worked out so well. And you just seem so comfortable and compatible and easy. I can just imagine that your relationship, it seems like it's pretty easy. Do you get in fights? Do you get under each other's skin at all?
Yeah, like sometimes, more like years ago, but like now we know how to navigate away from each other's moods or whatever. And we work, we're literally together 24/7, but we have a nice home where now he's got the upstairs, I have the downstairs, and then we meet in the middle and I go up to his apartment. Sometimes he comes down to mine. Anyway, I'm exaggerating, but it's like we found a place where we can each have our own space, and that was really important. And
Nothing is perfect
yeah,
ever, but it's not perfection you're looking for. It's compatibility.
yeah.
So,
And we were really both you know, understand, like we're both self-reflective. So I never try to say, this is your fault. It's like really a partnership, and just taking responsibility for what your triggers are, what and then and then allowing space for each other to find the self-reflection and all that, and then coming back together, and then like really honestly communicating, you know, without the emotional charges and stuff. And so we're both really good at that. Yeah. And we've had some good practice.
Well, and relationships do that, like it brings up the triggers and the mirrors and
Mhm.
and so when you have learned how to navigate through that, as you say,
Yeah.
it works out so much better because
Yeah.
you can not take it personally and you can learn and grow and go, oh man, you triggered this
Exactly.
for me. Let me look
Right.
into that. Let me self-reflect and figure that out. Where did that come from? Why am I doing that? And what do I need to do to get past that? And that's
Exactly.
That's actually the gift of being with your person. That is such a gift because, you know, when you can free yourself of your own triggers, that's when you can really be in your skin and be happy and peaceful anywhere, you know? And so it's a fine-tuning process. You have to be with your person, you know, to do that. And yeah. Mhm. To feel safe while you're doing it, I guess. Yeah.
Right, right. That's huge. The other person can hold that space and
Mhm.
yeah, and you know that you can let it all hang out, so to speak, and go through your
Exactly.
shit. And the other person's not gonna leave.
Right.
You know, you're gonna be there for each other. Maybe you give each other space. And I like what you have created with the living situation. I've coached
Mhm.
people that for years that you don't have to do something that's traditional. Like I've
Right.
talked about having different wings in a house, like, you know,
Yeah.
his side, her side, or her and her, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And that's okay. It's wonderful, whatever works for you. Some people have different houses. You know,
Right.
we're conscious adults and we
Yeah.
know what we want and what works for us. So that's wonderful. I just think that's a great example. And especially when you work together like that, like you guys do,
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
your own space, your own friends, your own time, all of that's
Mhm.
important that you honor yourself too.
Mhm.
Right.
But I will say, we really love being together. Like, he's not around me for a few hours. I'm like, oh, I'm missing something, you know?
That's so
It's kind of
sweet.
funny. Yeah.
Well, I can just see it in you guys, how comfortable and compatible you are. And I'm
Mhm.
very, very happy for you and so grateful that you're sharing your love and what happened with my audience. And I'm hoping my goal is to have more people join the sites, obviously, and more success stories. That's always been my goal, my focus. And I figure this would help inspire people is to start interviewing success stories of people that met on the sites and show them, hey, it works. It actually works. Give it a shot.
Yeah, you really should tout yourself
Mhm.
and really, you know, it's a wonderful, amazing contribution
Yeah.
that you make. And this should be a tribute to
Mhm.
everything that you've created
Yeah.
and contributed, because we wouldn't have met without you. And I'm sure that there are hundreds or thousands of other couples that
Mhm.
would not have met otherwise. And so you should be proud of that and promote that. And we'll always be grateful, which is why as soon as you reached out to us, we said, of course, we're going to do that
Yeah.
for Jill. Yeah.
You are an earth angel. You're a connector. And that's your passion. That's what you do. And more people should be in contact with that, you know? So,
Thanks, you guys. You're making me tear up. I appreciate that.
yeah.
And I did want to plug your business, cheekybutta.com, and it's spell it for us.
CHIKIBUTTAH, like butter.
I want to tell them a quick story about your
About what? Oh.
business that you created, exactly what it is.
Basically, it's just really all natural, organic, truly organic, handcrafted products with no chemicals whatsoever. I've always been very conscious about what I put on, in, and around my body. And these products are really like something, a brand you can trust, because more and more people are becoming, you know, aware of that, the importance of using really clean products, you know, and a lot of brands tout that they are, you know, green and clean and all these things when they're really not. And so I really take pride in picking the most organic, pure ingredients from nature to create my pain relief balms. And, you know, everything is it's all about self-care and loving yourself and, you know, putting good products on your skin and taking care of yourself. So.
And the fact that's what drew me to them, is because I only put natural, pure, organic stuff on my body. And and mostly in my mouth too, but I make some exceptions. It's hard where I live on an island to get all organic, but believe it or not. But I as best as I can. But your products, the cheeky butter, the lavender geranium, oh my God, it smells so good. And I love it that it's all natural, it's all organic and pure. It's the best. And I can go on and on. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your products too.
Thank you. We're mutually grateful.
There we go. I love it. Anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, just thank you for the opportunity, because, you know, I'm all about helping people like you and Randy too, really. And it's like the more people we can encourage to take the plunge and go on your sites and meet someone, we highly, highly encourage that, because it can really bring so much richness and quality to your life, you know, so.
Yeah, I like your shirt, Randy, too. Be a good human. Perfect.
The funny thing is the way I found your site is a former girlfriend, her best friend was on the site and she was telling me about it. And later I said, I'm going to check that out. And that's how I wound up meeting Kim. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for sharing and for being such beautiful examples of how well it works, and you creating such a wonderful life together, and your families coming together and being such a great match too. And here you are traveling and just enjoying your lives and creating such a beautiful company, you know, increasing and expanding the company and doing good for people every day. So thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your trip there. And
Thank you.
I did want to say the date. It's, what is it, May 28th or 7th?
27th.
27th.
Memorial Day, Monday.
Memorial Day in the United States today. 2024. I'm just marking these with a little date. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, and subscribe to the channel for future success story interviews and other tips and coaching that I'm starting to do, and interviewing other people as well. So thank you all, and thanks Kim and Randy, and everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Have a beautiful, wonderful,
awesome.
loving day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.